What is up, everyone? Happy Sunday. I just got back from a ride on my Madone. And when I was thinking about the video I didn't really go in depth on how this is set up and all that. And then obviously I got a comment, as I normally do. So I'm going to do a video just on how my Madone is set up, what I've changed from stock, and just basically go over the bike in a quick video. So we'll start out with, this is an SLR7. You can only get it through Project One. This is matte black, so it's just raw carbon, which is a little troublesome to deal with. But if you get the right, detailing products, then it's easy to do. I use the muck off matte finish kind of detailer to wipe it off every time I get back, and it seems to work pretty well. They come with Aeolus 51 Pro wheels. I always switch all my wheel sets out to the RSLs. These are 51s. I find that's a good balance in the middle, whereas the Amanda has 35s. But so it's 800 carbon, so it's very stiff, it's very responsive, and it's very fast. It has a one-piece bar that was designed just for this. My bike is a size 60, so I have a 110 millimeter bar, and we brought the stack up with as many spacers as we can to be safe. Otherwise, we'd have to get a front fork that wasn't cut, and we could bring it up more. I am okay with the position of the bar and the height. And so I'm not gonna touch it. This is Shimano Di2 12-speed Ultegra, which is a little interesting for me because all my other bikes have been E-tabs. So 9 times out of 10 I'll click the left to think I'm shifting up, and I'm moving the front chain ring. On this one, I swapped out the front crank set for 172.5 millimeter cranks. I'm probably gonna go down to 170. That was how my other Madone was set up, and my speed concept is 165, so I like to stay within 5 millimeters. So there's no wonkiness when I'm switching from bike to bike. I have swapped out the rear pulleys. And I'll do kind of a close-up again of this stuff as I'm talking. It'll go over like a voiceover. These are Kogel oversized pulleys, and I just have the 1130 cassette. I do have an 1134 to put on there when I'm going to be climbing a lot, because on my next trip I'm going to be bringing the Madone and the speed concept, so I want to be able to have some of those extra cogs. Obviously, rear wheel is also Aeolus 51 RSL. Both are set up tubeless. I always run tubeless, so I can run lower pressures depending on road conditions, surface conditions, weather, all those sorts of things, hot, cold, and all that. You should be changing your pressures before every race and checking them instead of just running them up 100 PSI. When you run latex tubes and all that, you got to kind of do that. But with tubeless, you can run lower pressures and still get it good, to a lower rolling resistance. The biggest change to the last Madone is they took out the ISO speed. They replaced it with IsoFlow. So there's a big hole right here. You can see my hand going through it. As I mentioned in the previous video, I don't know that it's more comfortable. I do feel a lot more road on my back, but it lost some weight here with that. So you can climb on this bike. It is very nimble climbing, but just be mindful that this may or may not be more comfortable. It's not more comfortable to me. It could be more comfortable to you. I also have an aggressive position on the bike, so I mean all of those factors could play into it. We had to go to a size 60 so I could get the saddle up high enough. for my leg extension. I have a Shimano Carbon Pro saddle on here right now. I'm still playing around with saddles after my back injury. Be mindful, there's only, interestingly, one torque bolt holding this saddle stem up. Just make sure you're checking the torque of that. It's 5.2, so it's not a lot of torque before every ride. I'm not going to go in detail, but check it before every ride. You know, when you got one bolt as compared to the previous Madone that had 2 bolts, you just want to be checking the torque on that bolt because you don't want it to drop down the tube on you. I think that's pretty much it. I got XXX cages on the bike, and obviously when you change your pulley wheels out to go to oversized, just be mindful that you're going to have to go up to a 126 link chain so they can cut it down. 116 link is not going to do it with oversized pulleys. There's just not going to be enough room. I do find, and I remember this with my previous Madone that was DI2, the first one, is that, you know, I kind of feel like I'm constantly adjusting, having to adjust. You know, I'm getting chain skip and all that stuff. I didn't have to really deal with that with ETAP. If you've, you know, this is my first experience with 12-speed Shimano, but if you've had similar issues, you can comment below on, you know, are you chasing the tiger tail every time or every other time you ride, or is it, you know, because you have to adjust everything in the app, the front cranks and the rear cassette, you adjust it all in the eTube app. Everything, real quick note, the front derailleur, the rear derailleur will update wirelessly through the app. The front shifters will not. They are not connected to the battery. So you either have to take it to the shop to update it, or if you watch some videos, you can connect an eTube wire from the front shifter and connect it to the wire coming to the front derailleur. And you have to buy an adapter to do that. I can kind of, I don't have it up on my workbench, but yeah, I'll put it in the comments of what I bought to do that. To make that easy. I run Asiyama dual-sided power pedals. I find that's easier because to swap between the Amanda and the Madone. The Speed Concept has a cork power meter, so I don't have to really worry about that. And obviously pedals are easy to swap. I've had these for a while, and they've been bulletproof. They've been very accurate. And I haven't had one issue with them in all the years that I've had them. I think that's pretty much it. Keep in mind, this bike is only through Project 1. You should still be able to get it through a Trek shop. There are some models out in the stores. If you're lucky, I know Trek Stafford has one. It's a 58. They did have a 58 in Quicksilver, which was my previous bike before I had to go up in a size, but that one's already been bought and shipped to Tampa. So lucky you. That's a hard color to find. I really wanted that color, but I'd rather have a bike that fits properly this time after all the injuries to my back than one that looked cool. I think that's pretty much it. I run the Wahoo Bolt version 2 head unit, and then I got the Vario radar to kind of, you know, watch my back. It's not the one with the camera on it, but it does keep me alert to what's going on behind me, because I'm, you know, when I'm down, I'm kind of laid across the front hoods like I would on my time trial bike to kind of keep maintaining that position, unless I'm climbing, obviously, and then over longer rides I'll shift my position. But if you have any more questions on the bike, yeah, I pretty much went over all the components of this one. I know I didn't do that in the previous video, and that's my bad. I get on these tangents, just how my mind works. I have anxiety disorders, so sometimes I can go through different, you know, tangents and, you know, you're like, what, he said TREK Madone review, and then he's talking crazy. I guess the last thing, I run GP 5000 tubeless tires. I got a whole box of them back here because that's my favorite tire. On the Amanda, I do have Pirelli, just because I don't use that bike a lot. Typically it stays on the trainer, but GP 5000 are on my Speed Concept and the bike, which are my primary race bikes. This is the bike that goes to Texas, and I just signed up for another race, so probably the Speed Concept will go with me as well. But if you have any more questions on this bike, you know, I haven't really run into a lot of issues. Like I said, be mindful of the seat post and the one bolt. Just make sure you're checking the bolt. I got a digital torque meter over here and a manual one. If you don't have that, you can go on Amazon and get one. They're not that expensive, just for peace of mind. And I can drop a link to the one that I bought from Amazon. And periodically I'll check the torque on these bolts, because you don't want to be out on the road and, you know, a bolt come loose, because naturally, you know, things are going to come loose as you rumble over the road. Just make sure you're checking the torque, you know, keeping the rotors clean. I keep alcohol pads, you know, like in a first aid kit, and I'll rub the rotor down at every couple of rides to keep it clean. And then I'll wash it every couple of rides and detail it. But that's pretty much it. I'll do a flyover just so you can get a close-up view, because this isn't really close up. I hope this was helpful. If you can get your hands on the bike and you're on the fence about it, I would get it over the previous Madone. It's lighter, it's faster, very responsive, and nimble. And you know, that's my 2 cents on it. They're around the same price, so you might as well get the Gen 7 if you're in the market for that. And just enjoy the bike. You know, everything looks really good. It's almost like art, you know. But you know, a lot of people's hang up is this IsoFlow. I do believe it makes the bike faster. You know, whether that's because it's lighter now, etc. But that's my 2 cents on the TREK Madone. If you have any questions, put them down below. I hope this was a better video to go over the bike, because the last one wasn't really. I apologize for that. I'm going to be doing more videos going forward as I go to where I'm going to be doing training camp. I'll go over how I'm going to start to train as I return to racing. So make sure you like and subscribe this video if it's your thing. And that's it for me. Happy Sunday and have a good week. I'm out.